Hello and welcome. We are going to be talking about working from home during the coronavirus and how you can use Office 365 to help you do that. My name is Ken Fanger and I am the president of On Technology Partners. And I'm excited to be doing this for everybody. Again, please mute your mics. It can cause problems if you get background noise during these presentations. So obviously we're here because of what the coronavirus has done to us and how it has shut down many of our businesses and caused us to have to learn a new way to work and working from home. And there's a lot of challenges, especially now. I was just talking with one of our clients today, and we're talking about the fact that even companies like ours that work from home as a general rule, this is still different because you can't get out of your home very much. It used to be even when you worked from home, when the evening came, you could go out to dinner, you could out and do things. Now you're not able to do any of that. You're really stuck in your home in a way that we have not seen before. So there are definite challenges that you have to address. So I want to take some time and talk about each challenge, and then we'll try and address them. Some of them just in things you can do, others through Teams and Office 365. The first one is being able to share. Obviously, that has been restricted. If you can't see people, you can't give them stuff. But through Office 365, there are ways to get around that and work on that situation. Engaging people. We're learning how to engage through virtualized meetings, but it's still not quite the same as in real life. But there are ways to be able to do that, create that water cooler type of environment, and keep everybody active. Staying focused, it does become challenging. There's lots of things around the house, though I think most of us are getting some of those projects done that we haven't done in a while. But staying focused and productive, we'll talk about. And then staying connected. How do you make sure that things are moving forward? How do you work on documents together? How do you put presentations and proposals out together? We'll talk about all those things and how Office 365 can help them and help you to do that. So first I want to talk, I have been working virtually for almost 30 years. Our company's been around for that long, and we've always worked out of our houses as the primary focus, but it does take some challenge. And one of the first tips that I tell you to do is make a place in your house at your workspace. It's a place where you go to work. It moves you from just being in the kitchen where everybody's at. If that's the only thing you can do, that's okay. But the more you can segment that out, the more it'll feel like you're going to work and not just working in your house. The next thing I tell everybody is take breaks. In fact, we have a great article that we're putting out on how to deal with eye strain, since most of us are probably watching the screen more than we have in the past, especially if you were working in an office. You'd at least have the drive time to get your eyes to recover. Now we're spending all 8 hours in front of the screen. You can go out to our Facebook page on Tech Partners, and we have a bunch of things about how to protect your eyes during this time. But take breaks. Stop yourself every hour, every half hour, whatever you need to keep kind of sane. Also, because I have worked from when my children were young till now, you need to make sure that you let your family know this is when you're working. When my kids were young, they would want my time when I was working at home, but clients needed me to get things done. So I had to keep that break and that division, even though I was still physically in the house. And now we're a lot of time in the house. That's really important. This is one thing that is also very important, is kind of have a plan for what you want to get done in the day, but don't over expect your day. I usually say try and pick 3 things that you want to accomplish in a day and consider that day successful. If you do that every day, you'd be amazed at how many things you can get done. If you try to do 15 things, almost every time you're not going to get all 15 done. There'll be a sense of failure that you don't want to build in yourself. So try making that plan, but keeping that plan reasonable. Make sure you also have a very strong stop working point. Don't work from 5 in the morning till 10 at night straight every day. You'll start going crazy. Make a 5 o'clock cutoff or a 6 o'clock cutoff, and then spend it as family time or doing something else that you enjoy that is not work, so you don't feel that your whole life is only to work now. You want to keep separation. And one little trick that I've learned that I like is set up some task. Like I love laundry for this because laundry takes about an hour. So I load the laundry, I go up, I work for an hour, see what I can get done, then I go back down. It lets me have natural breaks in my day. There are other things you can do to create those natural breaks, and they also get things done so you can feel productive all the way around. Okay, so let's talk about now how Office 365 from Microsoft can help you do some of these connection things, how it can make little things like water cooler conversations, sharing documents, being able to work together. So what we're going to talk about today is how to do file sharing and collaboration, and then how to collaborate with your teams using Teams to do video conferencing like this one, and chat, and a lot of ways to be cross-connected. So the first thing we'll talk about is OneDrive and SharePoint. This is Office 365's file sharing system. OneDrive is used for what we call your personal files. SharePoint is used for group files. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to jump over and show you how to get into OneDrive. So what you do, let me see if I can get into the right one here. So you actually just go to office.com, type in your username and password, and then it'll go out here. And then all you need to do to get into your OneDrive is move over to here. So you'll see all the different applications that you have available to you will show up here. In this case, I want to go and I want to work with OneDrive. When you click on that, it opens up into your personal OneDrive. Now that's nice, it's on the cloud, it's really accessible, but what's really nice about OneDrive is it can be synchronized with every single one of your devices. So I'm going to come over here, make sure that I get the right one. So this is my computer. This is not off in the cloud. This is my computer, but you'll notice I have the same folders here that I have over here. So there's the council members' headshots. So if I click in here, this is all the City of Cleveland council members. If I go back over to my local computer, again, you can see all the local council members' headshots for a project we're working on. Everything is synchronized with my phone, with my tablet, with my laptop, with my desktop. So if I make a change here, it changes across all of those at the same time. And the first thing people ask is, well, how do I synchronize? And the beauty is, all you have to do is go into your OneDrive. I'm going to close this window down. And up here where it says sync, you just click on that. And it automatically synchronizes with the device. Oh, here's a couple more people. So when you do this, when you click on synchronize, it will automatically connect. And I'll show you how to synchronize because you do the same thing to attach SharePoint libraries. So that quickly, you are able to connect to files. So now what I want to do is I want to show you how easy it is to be able to share. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to find a file. So I'm going to grab this file and I'm going to share it. So all you need to do is click on these three ellipses next to the name. And one thing I love to show is, you see how up above the options that are available changed. If I uncheck that, it changes to what you're doing. So if I'm down here and I click on this folder, it changes what I'm able to do so that you know that it is synchronized with what you're trying to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. All you have to do is click on share. Now this is really important because what I'm about to show you decides how people are able to get into it. By default, unless this is turned off on your account, you're able to share it so that anybody with the link is able to get into it, work on it, edit it, remove it. So you do want to be careful. If it's something that you want to keep private, you either want to only let it for the people in your organization, people that are only allowed to get to it already, if you already said it, or you can set for specific people. So if this was a legal document, you may want to make sure that like specific people, and then that person that you send it to would have to log in to get to it. The other pieces that you can do is you can turn off allow editing, and you can block download, so they can look at it, but they can't download it and they can't change it. You can also set a password for it, and you can set an expiration date. So if I set this for tomorrow and I shared this, it'd be shareable until tomorrow when it would stop being shareable. So this is how you are able to configure and give out files and then control who can change them, who can access them, and what they can do with it. And then all you need to do is start typing the email addresses of the people you want to share it with. If it's somebody in your organization, and then as soon as I click send, this will be shared to all of those people. And we can work on this together. In fact, I'm using this with my BNI group right now, where we set up the presentation every week with different members at the same time. So I don't have to email it off, have them do something, email it back. We work within the files directly. Okay, is there any questions so far on OneDrive? You can just type into the chat window if you want. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some other neat features of OneDrive that you can use and how it works. Let's go off of here. And now I'm going to go into here and show you some really neat features that you can use and take advantage of. So what you have is, you'll notice there's different little images. There's a cloud. There's a synchronizing, which is the circlings. And then there's a green checkbox, which is solid. I'll explain that. So if it's in the cloud, it means that it's saving space on your computer and it's put out into the cloud. So even though you can see it, it's not wasting space, which is really nice, because if you're using a tablet and you have a very small solid state drive, like 100 gig, you get a terabyte of space in OneDrive. So you may not want everything on every device. You only have to have what you need onto the device. It only downloads when you use it. Now, you do want to be careful. If you're doing a video, it could take a couple minutes for it to download. But the nice thing is, it makes it easy to have space. But you can change that quickly, and a green, solid green with a checkbox means that that is always going to be available on your local device. A green with a checkbox and a white means that it will be available for a limited time, but eventually it will be moved back up to the cloud. And you change that by right-clicking, and then you either, if you want it to always be there, you click on Always Keep on this device. Once you check that off, now after about a week, it's going to migrate that back up if you don't use it. Or if you want the space immediately, you click on Free Up Space. And then now you notice it is moved off of my computer and put only into the cloud. So this is a great way to be able to save space, but still get to your files when you need them. The other thing that we do is, if you noticed, I've created it so that my desktop is part of my OneDrive. I don't know if this ever happened to any of you, but I have had situations where I save a lot of things onto my desktop, and then my computer crashes, somehow I lose my desktop, I lose all those files. This, I'm able to have my files. I literally lost my computer about 4 years ago. I had this set up, got a new computer, set it up, got all my files back in about 10 minutes. So it's a great way to have some protection and also not to waste too much of your hard drive space. So that's, oh, one other wonderful thing that I love to tell people about. So let's say that I'm working on this document, and me and 2 other members of my team have worked on this document, but one of the other members of my team made a change that we didn't either want, or I'm really notorious for this. I'll open up a document that I'll use as a template. I'll accidentally wipe out all the stuff inside of it. I'll save it, and then I'll realize that I didn't change the name first. Well, with this, all you have to do is click on here, go to version history, and it'll show you the different versions that have been created. I'm trying to think if I have one that has, let me see if this one has a few versions of it. So I can go back to any one of these versions. So if I made a change here, I accidentally wiped out some pricing that I needed, I could go back to this one and pull it back up. So it's that easy. You just come down here, right click on the ellipses, and pick version history. You can go back to whatever version was saved before and pull those changes. So that's all we're going to cover on OneDrive. SharePoint works the same, but we will talk about SharePoint a little bit here. Is there any questions? Again, if you want to type a question, you can come down here to where it says show conversation, and then you can just type your question right in there. Okay. Let's bounce back over to presentation then. Okay, again, to sync to any device, and there are clients to sync to your iPhone, your iPad, your Android tablet, and of course your Windows and Macintosh. So you can be connected everywhere. And one thing that I actually had happen when I was out at Atlantis, I needed to get to a file, but I didn't have my computer with me. It was on my desktop on my home computer. Because I have that synchronized with OneDrive, I was able to use my phone, get to the file, and email it over to the person that needed it. And otherwise, I'd had to wait 2 weeks while we were out of town. So it's really nice to give you that capabilities. Okay, now we're going to talk about Teams. And Teams is a collaboration system. It is video conferencing like what we're doing right now, but it has so much more. And it's designed to let your teams continue to work together and be engaged. And it gives you different ways to be like if you're around the water cooler, do quick communications, or planned meetings. So the first thing, again, you go to office.com, and this time you'll pick Teams. And then the Teams is going to open up this Teams window. And normally what you will see is this. And we're only going to talk about a few parts of Teams today. There's a whole bunch to Teams, but we're going to talk about the chat functionality, how to set up Teams. This is Teams right here. That lets you have a SharePoint space, a way to post and talk to each other. And then we're also going to talk about adding functionality. And one of the big ones that I found people like is a task manager planning thing that you can add to it. And then we'll talk about how to make a team meeting and then invite people to it. Oh, the wrong button there. Okay, so we're going to go back here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about chat. So the nice thing about chat is this works on your phone, this works on your tablet. We use it all the time to keep in touch. You can see all the different chats we have going along here. You can have, like, we have our editor team, we have our tech team. So those groups of people can then work together very quickly. And that gives a way to have instant communications that aren't emails. Because unfortunately, like for me right now, I get a lot of emails every day. So if somebody's trying to get to me through email, it might be hard to get to me. But this comes up just like any other chat or texting window. And so it's very quick, very easy to engage and interact. And it's easy to do this. If you want to make a new chat, you just right click on it, click on new chat, type in the people you want to add to the chat. And then even better, you can go here and put in the name for the chat. And you can instantly, like you see, we did that with our tech chat and our edit team. So it's a quick way to build a group that you can then quickly interact with. And all you have to do is type down here. And you can see, even every time you have a meeting, your chats come up right here. So you can see what is being talked about, what's being chatted about. And again, this engages across all of your devices and all of your team's devices. So the next thing I want to talk about is setting up these different teams. So when you want to create a team, this is the group within your organization, or it could be the whole organization. This lets you be able to build a group together that can chat together, can work together, can share files together, and share task planning together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and it says join or create a team. So if there's teams created that you want to be a part of, you can click on this to actually join it. So let me do this. So normally you would just join right here if there's a team you wanted to join to, but we're going to create a new team. So you could have actual templates if you wanted. If there's an existing team that you wanted to copy, you could do that. So let's say there's a marketing team and you wanted a advertising team underneath it, you could copy that, for example. But we're going to build a team from scratch. So there are 3 different levels of team that you can pick from. You can have organization-wide. This means this puts everybody into that team. So you notice over here we have On Technology Partners. Every person that comes into the company gets put into the On Technology Partners team, so that we can give company-wide information. We have company-wide documents all available there. You can have a public, which means anybody in your organization can ask to join it, but they're not automatically added. And then there's private, which means you can people are not able to come in until you invite them in. So we're going to pick a private one today. So we're going to make this the Wednesday group. I can't spell. And then you can give a description. Thank God for spell checker to fix all of my bad spelling. And bad typing. So you build your group, you build your description, and you click on create. And then it's going to ask you to start adding people. So again, we'll put Lucy in there, we'll put Mike in there. And then what this is going to do is it's going to add them as members. Members by default have the right to edit documents, erase documents, do chat sessions, but they cannot invite other people to join the group. But you can go to owner. So I just made Michael an owner. He can now decide who is and isn't a member of the group. So he'll be able to kick people out, add new people, whatever that is. So usually department heads might be the owners of a group, and then the department would be members of that group. Now that automatically creates several different things right off the bat. So the first thing you get is a chat for that group. So you're able to talk to each other. I can talk with Michael and Lucy about what's happening with our Great Wednesday meetings. And again, it creates a way to have instant and constant communications. The next thing that you can do is you can have your files. And surprisingly, I wonder if things are running slow right now, because usually what happens is, let me go up here to this one. This is how it normally looks. But I do know that Microsoft has been telling people it can take up to 20 minutes for new creations just because of the load that they've been having because of how many people have been signing up to work with us. So I don't think this may not work for a little while. So we'll just use this one that already exists. And then the last thing I wanted to show you, I don't use the wiki very often. And again, if you click on synchronize, this will synchronize with your desktop. So if I go over to here, up here, you can see we have the Great Wednesday group. And there's the steps to set up a virtual public meeting. And again, you can see it's got a little blue cloud. So right there, you're able to get in, close this, and have your files shared across your devices. So if I was working with my team, Lucy and I or Michael and I are making sure we're setting up the steps to do a virtual public meeting, we could both go in here, we could both edit it at the same time. Everything would be right here, and I'd know how to find it because it's right under this team for Wednesday. So that's how easy it is. You just saw I just synchronized. That's all it took. One click, you wait a few seconds, and you're up and running. Now, the last thing I want to show you is you can add additional items. You can add additional document libraries, Excel spreadsheets. But the one that I think everybody really has liked from the previous presentations are these planners. They are a great way to, so we're going to create a new plan. And you can then save this. And what you have is you have a way to manage tasks. So now we want to, so instead of to do, let's say, build the website. So we now have a build the website project, and I want to add a new task. Get the initial design. We can set a due date for that. So we want that by this Friday, and I want Lucy and Mike. And the nice thing is there's a lot more people in our organization than those two, but because of this group is only built of those two, those are the people that will get assigned to these tasks. And I'm going to add the task, and I'm going to come in here, and you can add different things. Get the home page, the contact us page. So you can set up a checklist underneath. And you can have it show up on the card. And you can also have that it started, so you can see who started it. And you can change the started status. And the nice thing about this is it will send you emails as it gets close to the date, if it's past the date. So you're able to have your team managing tasks very quickly. And then you can have multiple different things. Build event. Get multiple projects that you just keep building out, and you can keep adding people and tasks to it. So it's a great way to just quickly get task management and process management for your team. And like I said, there are multiple other features. Power BI is to actually do reporting if you want to do that. Streams is for videos. So there's a lot of functionality that you can get. And you get this with almost every package of Office. Okay. One thing I do want to mention is there's one other thing you can do. You can manage your team here. You can add a channel, which is down here. So if you do have multiple subgroups, you can do that. You can add members. You can leave a team. You can also delete a team. But I'm going to tell you to be careful when you delete a team because it will delete everything. And they mean everything. So just be very aware that when you delete, it's gone. And we have some packages that we can give you for backup solutions to protect against that. But if you don't have those and you don't do this, you could lose a lot of documents and a lot of other items that you've created. Okay, any questions on how you set up a team, how you would work with teams, how you interact, or how you can do file sharing and multiple editing of documents? Okay, let's get to what we're doing right now. Okay, there we go. So the nice thing about Office 365 is that everything is synchronized across platforms. So if you notice, this is the calendar inside of my Teams view. If I go over to here to my actual, where is my actual Outlook calendar, you'll notice it's the exact same calendar. So when I add something here, so if I go and I add something here on Friday, I can turn this into a Teams meeting by just clicking on Teams, but then I save and close it. So you see it shows up there. Now to go back into Teams, since it synchronizes, you should see it show up. Whoops. Over here. There it is. So it might take a few seconds for everything to synchronize, but you see it keeps everything in line. So you're able to see the calendar, see the things that I'm doing, and I can create things either here or in Outlook or on the web, and they're all connected together. So now I'm not going to do a Meet Now because I found out when we did our first training sessions that Meet Now cancels the current meeting and creates a new one. But Meet Now is a wonderful way if you just want to do a quick 1 or 2 person meeting, and you can do these on your phone, and it is a video conference meeting. You can click on this and then engage everybody very quickly. It's kind of like being able to do that walk into the office or water cooler type of meeting. So that especially now with coronavirus and being locked in your home, great way to quickly connect. It's kind of like those that do FaceTime, doing a quick FaceTime. But now if you want to, and you can, if you have the right versions, do what are called live events. A live event can have up to 10,000 observers. Most of us probably don't need that, but a regular meeting from Microsoft can have up to 250 people in attendance. We've done 9. That's the largest size of our company, but you can do fairly large meetings. And all you need to do to schedule a meeting is click on Schedule Meeting, put in here the training. I really can't spell. I'm going to invite Lucy to join us for that. We're going to make it for this Friday at 3 o'clock till 3:30. You could actually add channels. So if I wanted to add the executive group, I could do that. The location is going to be Teams. And then you can just put some information here. And then I'm going to send this. Now this, just in addition to creating this here, it also sent over to Lucy an invite to our meeting. And then you can go in here and you can just click on this Join Teams meeting, and you'll both be in the meeting and can work together. So it is that easy to set up a Teams meeting. And again, I want to show you on my calendar in Outlook is that same Teams meeting. So I'm going to go in here and delete this because I don't want to actually have a Teams meeting on that day, but so I'm going to cancel this meeting. It's going to send a cancellation now out. So that's how you can go in and schedule meetings very quickly and very easily. So now let's talk about actually working within the interface of a Teams meeting. So when you come in here, the first thing you'll see is you have this little bar. This little bar does disappear if you're off screen. I don't know if I can get far enough off screen to make it disappear. But if you need to get it back, you just move over and it'll reappear. And the first 2 things you have is you can turn off your camera. So you're all seeing me. Now you don't see me. The next thing you have is your microphone. So you can mute, and I can go in and I can actually mute everyone. Then over here, this is how you can share your desktop. This is how I'm sharing the PowerPoint presentation. You can also share that off to other people in your group if you want them to be able to work on your desktop. The next thing over are the 3 ellipses. In here, you're able to do several things. You can pick which devices. So if I have multiple microphones, if I have a better microphone, I can add that. You can show the meeting notes. This is a really great effect. This lets you blur your background. Whoops. In fact, they've just added new features so that you can change the type of background you have. So if you don't want people to know what you are actually at, you can now change that. Just be careful because there are some really crazy ones out there. But they now have added a neat new feature. So if you do need to hide your background for whatever reason, you do have that option. So if I didn't want you to see my Dino Bunny, I could make it look like a totally different world. Okay, I'm going to go back to not blurring my background for a little while now. So you now have the option to have multiple backgrounds. You can turn on live captions that actually will try and transcribe what you're saying, similar to if you use your iPhone for doing talk to text. You can record the presentation like we're doing right now. You can also go and show your conversation. So you can type in here chats that you want to see everybody to see, or you can chat to individuals in the group, and then you can show participants. And the last thing you can do is you can end the meeting by hanging it up. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. So one of the things Microsoft is doing is they are giving you 6 months of free Teams. It is a very limited Teams. There's a lot of things that are restricted, but if your company is looking for a way to just work together, it's a great way to get started. Though the entry package for Office 365 is $5 a month, and it gives you all the features that we've shown here today. The free Teams does not include the OneDrive, doesn't let you to have outside guests. There's a lot of restrictions on it. We are doing these trainings every Wednesday, so if you'd like to join us, you can any week. That is wonderful. If you'd like a private training session, you can reach out to us here and we can set up to have private training and help your organization better use Office 365. We also have a small business secure VPN so that you can set it up so that your remote workers can get to your office for different files they might need or servers they might need without having to have them on site. It's very easy, it's very cost effective, and it's a great way to have your team work remotely. And again, remember to always be careful what you show in the background. You can use those screen effects to protect your information. I was watching recently where a reporter was reporting from home and her husband came out of the shower behind her and they didn't realize it till it was too late. Okay, just for some fun, we are doing Dino Bunny and her adventures. If you want to do something for 2 minutes that takes your mind off, join us at facebook.com/ontechnologypartners and learn more. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to helping you in the future. My name is Ken Fanger, President of OnTechnology Partners.